Hello, and welcome to the DM's Book Club, a weekly book club podcast where we talk about some Dungeons and Dragons and discuss how we might include it in our role-playing campaigns. We're back. Welcome to our first recording of 2026.
It is. Woo. Yeah. I know there's been episodes going out,
Yes.
I've been seeing, but yeah, it's the first one that we've actually got together.
Yeah.
After I cancelled ours a lot. It's my fault last time.
I know. Typical January is like, yeah, new year, new us, new calendar. We're really prepped. And then we're both like, oh no, we both forgot January is a whole. My name is Fiona, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Hamilton. Hamilton, how are you doing in the grand scheme of things that you would like to share, which you would like to share on the podcast?
Yeah, the grand scheme of things, my arm hurts a lot. But other than that, because I'm stupid and I fell off a ladder over Christmas and I busted my rotator cuff, which is, I'm getting all these sports injuries. Like I did my metatarsal like a year and a half ago.
God.
And then this year I've done my rotator cuff. So I'm like, super doing all the good stuff. But it means my arm is broken. But other than that, I'm okay.
I just like the idea is like you should see the ladder. The ladder's like completely twisted up and broken, and the little steps are like all over.
Ladder's fine. I'm the only one that's hurt in this whole process. And I thought it was really clever because I didn't land on my wrist because I was like, I don't want to break my wrist. So I thought I'll land on my shoulder. Fuck. That didn't work. Don't do that. Well, actually, I landed on my elbow, which then I think pushed up my shoulder, which then meant...
And then pull
the muscle. Anyway, so don't fall off things, children. That's the
if in like 6 months' time, I'm like, God, all the writing Hamilton's doing is all to do with falling from great heights and injuries.
Exactly.
The plot hook is like you help what seems to be an able-bodied gentleman get something off the top shelf, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing, because this is the thing you're realizing, like, as someone who looks able-bodied and then you're having to ask people to help, people do look at you strangely. You kind of like it does make you reaffirms the idea that I know a lot of people easily forget, which is that not all disabilities are visible, sort of thing. It really clarifies that. It's a lot of things with these things. It makes you so much more aware of it. Obviously, I have become more aware of it as someone who has to deal as an architect, designing buildings for people with ambulant disabled spaces as well as accessible spaces and stuff like that. So there's like so many different you learn so much more through that process about all the different like ambulant needs that there can be. But yeah, I remember as a teenager going, how could you don't know these things as much, do you, being a kid? So it's
it's interesting because in the US, I feel as someone who has come to live here, much more of the spaces are more accessible. But I don't think that's necessarily by design. Like I said, like the pavements and the places are bigger.
There's more space.
There's more space. I think that's literally it. But like
just
even
bigger pavements and better because they put a lot more money in their road system because of the car dominance space.
Pretty much, yeah. Just like the car parking and stuff like that. I'm always shocked when I've never seen a car park fully full. Which sorry, I know that's not really accessible, but like everything is like it's you just have the space for said putting like wheelchairs in. Like even my theatre space, there's a ramp going up to the stage. Now, I don't know if it's necessarily primarily for folks who have walking disabilities, but I was kind of like, wow, a lot of theatres in London don't have it.
Well, if you design a theatre nowadays, a new theatre, then yes, you would have that. And a lot of theatres will have elements ready and backup abilities. It's just the problem is that all our
old buildings
were built in the Victorian era when they didn't do any of this stuff.
Yeah.
But as much as toilets have been ruined by J.K. Rowling, which I won't get into, but she literally has ruined buildings I'm in. I've spent a year fixing problems because of J.K. Rowling. So fuck you, J.K. Rowling. But
new year, new us. Fuck J.K. Rowling. Yes, absolutely.
I spent more times on toilets thanks to J.K. Rowling than I ever spent reading Harry Potter, and that's a fucking fact.
What a great term. I wish you could have that on the shirt, but obviously it means nothing out of context.
I know, for all architects though, it would mean a lot. Like J.K. Rowling, I've read more building regulations on toilets thanks to J.K. Rowling because I just
like the short niche audience of our podcasters are like of our podcast is
British architects dealing with Part T. Exactly.
Hamilton, God.
Hashtag Hamilton.
Fingers on the pulse.
Spitting truth. Yeah. But anyway, but the other things I do with toilets, which is it's such an incredibly, but also what's really positive, and it's a real tangent, is that not like mental health activities are being much more focused in public space as well, which is really cool, which is really good about like having sensitivity rooms, so like desensed like rooms with like calm spaces for people to go to who require them, and also just like thinking about light conditions and all these things in museums and stuff like that being really critical. And it like there's loads more, and sound and everything like that. And so, and sound particularly around like spaces of needing help, like because obviously like people with autism and other sort of like neurological issues, like, you know, regarding that, and with particularly with sound and audible sound, you know, I even find like our office is terrible for it, and a couple of us, which are clearly on the spectrum, we're all sitting there going, this is really hard to hear people until we like put some things in to help dampen it. So yeah, those kind of things are really.
Yeah, I was gonna say my friend recently started a new job, and she's in like an office where they're all got their backs to each other and they've got the little cubicles, but she can't. Constantly, she used to have her own business and work at home somewhere, and so now she's having to, even though they've got the cubicle side things, she's finding it really difficult to concentrate when everyone's on their meetings and calls. And so I was just saying, like, you're gonna have to book that conference room or something, because oof, god,
Well, yeah, there's some new earpods that they said, the ear things you can get in that help delineate the sound a little bit. But the worst thing for me is just because the echo is really bad. It's really hard to like acoustics were so bad for a while that you just couldn't talk to people without hearing. It was just hard to hear.
Well, because you think you're interrupting and you're not. Wait, that's a different call. And oh, dreadful.
But some people found it fine, and it was just like three of us who were all sort of like similarly neurodivergent. We're all going, "It's really horrible in here. I can't stand talking in here."
I've got to go my own little private booth. Yeah, and it's fine. I'll do that. Yeah. Well, speaking of us being like on the pulse, as it were.
On the pulse, I see. Yeah.
Hamilton, what are we talking about today? What's our topic of choice?
Our topic of choice is we're embracing the seductive darkness of Baldur's Gate with a shadow-kissed expansion full of blood, danger, and intrigue, known as Astarion's Book of Hungers.
Yes, indeed. That nice little free supplement I think we got a couple of months ago, and we were like, let's start off with something an easy read for the beginning of the year.
AKA D&D does thirst traps. That's what I'm calling it.
Yeah. So have you finished Baldur's Gate 3 then?
No.
Yeah, I haven't, and I feel really bad because I think everyone and their dog has finished it. So
I watched Dan finish it.
Yeah.
Does that count?
I think that counts. Yeah, that counts if you've not played. Because I vaguely know what the storyline is. Obviously, I know who Astarion is and all that sort of thing.
But we played it quite regularly. We played it to Sharn Temple, didn't we? Basically, the Jade Temple or whatever is a Shade.
I was literally going to say we will definitely get stuff wrong about Baldur's Gate 3, so don't come for us because neither of us have had time to finish it. Is what I was going to say. But I think to the beginning of Act 2 is where I got to.
Yeah, we went on the boat across to the Sharn Temple, and then we had the fire thing. We kind of dealt with all those, and then we kind of gave up after that, basically. We played quite a lot of it. To be fair,
we played quite a lot of it, and also it was just us. Yeah, we didn't really have the companions with us.
Well, because it was us. Yeah, it was us and Dan and Tay playing. So we didn't have room for additional.
We don't have time for your plot lines, idiots.
We just kind of went. We saw them in camp, didn't we? And just chatted to them there. And basically, Tay just interacted with Astarion. No one else was allowed to.
Yeah, no one was. Yeah, we got told off.
She bagsied Astarion.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I just talked to Will for a little bit. And that was it. I was like, that's
Gale,
it.
I think
Gale. Gale was my guy. Yeah, that was
she looks wistfully into the distance.
Oh, Gale. Yes, absolutely. So what I meant to say is that, so neither of us really, obviously we know who Astarion is, this sort of elf, Damphir, vampire spawn, that's obviously incredibly popular. And with a lot of things that's happening nowadays, there's a lot of like, hey, you know that thing you love? We've made this, so you gotta get the thing. And like even like Karlach, who's another fan favorite companion from Baldur's Gate 3, has featured in the Adventures of Forgotten Realms as an NPC. I think like it's on the main cover as well, which is like again really really cool. Like I'm really pleased for the voice actors, and like it's very cool for the Baldur's Gate 3 team as well. Like it's. This legacy is going to go on for a while. We're not going to see it
as much as Larian Studios came out and said, we hate D&D so much, we're going to make our own next game not in the Baldur's Gate.
Hilarious, yeah.
I know, which is like, it's such a bad system, it negates everything of fun. And you're like, okay,
it's like, well, good. Cool. Or you could just be like, yeah, we play different games now. That's what I could have said, but they were like, no.
It was too boring.
So this little supplement, I don't know if it came out with like celebration of like, hey, like if there was a reason for it to come out, or if it was just like a nice free thing that they wanted to do. And as I sort of said, it's an easy, quick read. At least I would say my sort of overall impression of it is that it's a little bit better than some of the freebies we had recently. I know I keep talking about the 50th anniversary because it feels like it's still going on, but like, you know, like the Temple of Elemental Evil thing we had, and then the Hold Back the Dead, all that sort of thing, where there were like free things and we're like, this isn't very good.
Yeah.
Whereas here, at least you get like some stat blocks. I will say the damn fear. So yeah, so there's chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Chapter 1 is like, here's ways to tie your characters to be sort of more vampiric, and I actually think that's pretty good. Actually, there was some new feats in that. They reprinted the damn fear from Van Richten's, and it's pretty much the same. There's no big changes. And then I was like, ways to tie it into Baldur's Gate if you're playing through Baldur's Gate or any Sin City. I was like, great. I think the only thing I was going to think of was like some of the backgrounds and some of the feats are pretty dark. You know, it's like, you are a servant or a servitor of the Darkspawn, but possibly without your consent. And I'm like, maybe we should chat about that at a session 0, perhaps. That's the only thing I was thinking of. That's
the thing, when like as someone who's written things about undead and things, it's quite hard to, you know, that you're dealing with things that are requiring fundamentally everyone to be around the table comfortable with what you're going to be talking about, I think. And I think everyone knows that there is, like, for example, we look at What We Do in the Shadows is a great example of how one can play that story without it being, whilst it deals with quite dark and terrifying things, it's also like humorous, and everyone's around the table and everyone can sort of like, so it's just finding I think what it proves is there can be interesting stories to be playing a vampire devotee, which is one of the backgrounds that you get at the beginning. And you get persuasion and stealth as skill proficiencies, cook's utensils, which I think is funny.
You just serve yourself up on like a little platter,
exactly. That's the thing. That's kind of there. And a healer's kit, just because, you know, why not?
Patch yourself up. Yeah.
But I think it's also you have the vampire survivor thing as well there, which is again something that you might want to talk about. But it's also just, it allows for those sorts of stories to be played. I mean, as I'm figuring out with most of D&D, it's becoming you kind of read these things, and as much as anything, what does it give you that's particular to these things? Not a lot. Like, I don't like, so the 3 you've got is, and I think this is a general rule I'm going to say quite often during this review of it, is that there's nothing specifically special coming out of here that I'm like, oh my gosh, you have
please get this.
You need this because this is rewriting the rules of vampirism, you know, like there's nothing like that, you know, because I mean, like the carouser, which is one which is kind of trying to say like you're just in and around. You're a person about town. You know everyone. You're chatting. You're an absolute raconteur.
You're a social butterfly. You're going from party to party. You know how to get in.
Snap. Yeah, paparazzo lifestyle. Right. And the beating heart of this large city, such as Baldur's Gate. You spend countless evenings in taverns, playhouses, all this stuff. Right. You're a natural at interacting with people to learn their secrets. Okay. So anyway.
Also, this person sounds like an awful person. You see them go,
I mean, a lot of these things are
fucking
awful.
Stephanie. God, I don't want to talk to Stephanie. She's I told her something and it's all over town. Yeah.
If you want to do your Mean Girls thing, this might be one of them. But also, you get like, all you get is like tool proficiency. You choose a gaming set, equipment A or B. So A is a dagger, so like, and the other's money. So it's a dagger, gaming set, fine clothes, glass bottle, mirror, perfume, pouch, tinderbox, 19 gold. And you get deception and persuasion, and a feat, which is tireless reveler, which we'll get onto later.
Yeah.
Which, but there's nothing in there. It's like, it's just like reframing all the things you kind of have. And I think there's nothing in there that's like particularly cool. Like, what I was going to get to was like a luck proficiency or a luck thing or something like that, because you're a carouser and you maybe are a bit lucky or something. I don't know. Yeah. Or vampire devotee is the persuasion tell. You get feat, vampire's plaything, which we'll come on to, which isn't, again, these feats aren't amazing, but you get cook's utensils, fine clothes, glass bottles, healer's kit, persuasion and stuff. They're not changing you up a lot. No. They're just giving you things that you could build yourself, I guess, is what I'm suggesting.
I will say, like, I assume you've got whatever your starting gold is of 50 gold, right? And then obviously they've bought things with it, and that's where you get the 19 gold. I just feel like 19 gold is such a weird, like, specific number. And like later on in the Vampire Survivor, you got 4 gold instead. And like, okay, maybe it's because you bought the Hooded Lantern and the Holy Symbol, but I'm just like going like, God, again, it drawn to me, it's like, what else could I buy for 19 gold and round it down to like, I don't know, 10 or something. So yeah, I don't know. That's such a weird sort of me just looking at it. But yeah, I think these are just like, suggestions of like, hey, so in the vampire sort of tropiness of it all, what kind of person could you be connected to? And like you said, like, yeah, we've got the carouser who's like not necessarily a type of vampire, but like you said, like sort of like a person who knows secrets, so you probably know a lot of vampires. And the two different sort of like someone who's dedicated their lives to the vampires and someone who's broken away from it. Cool. Is there anything else we could do? And I wonder if then what we need is some of the flavouring of the other backgrounds to and I have suggestions for it, like I don't know, like a fighter, a bodyguard. I think it was the one I saw. Like where you go, right, you know, here's some things that specifically in they've got like Baldur's Gate, or is it Waterdeep, where you can have specific backgrounds for that. And I just wondered, like, maybe we need something for that, maybe to reflavor some of those things, so that you get excited about, oh, I can see myself playing a character like this, and that you know that your boss is a vampire, but you're just a secretary. You're just getting the admin done, and you're like, oh, get the tax return done. There's blood on my ledger again. Daniel, I don't know. This whole supplement to me feels like hey, you like vampires, don't you? And we're like, well, it's been a couple of years. You still like them. Look, here's some ideas. I don't mind that.
We can't really better it, but we'll give you some shit to
I mean,
fill your boots.
You want to come in? You like fangs? You like little fangies? Yeah, little fingies. Let's go in. Blood. We've got heaps of the stuff. Come in.
It's very true. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? And we'll make it very suggestive and seductive, so all those thirsty people out there will enjoy reading it as well. There you go.
There is some cracking artwork, I would say, which I feel like must have been brand new commissioned for this.
It must have been, yeah.
I was like, bloody hell. I'm like, unless there's going to be like a book in a few years' time, we'll go, this is what it was for. They were like, quick, we need something out in the meantime.
There is some good art. It's quite, and it's well put together book. I haven't seen the actual book, I must admit, but you can see, like, I like the fonts, and stuff like that.
Yeah, they have obviously throughout, again, very similar to how we had like, I think it was Volo and a couple of when we've had these solar supplements, and they're like, I'm going to have a little like point of view from the character. Yeah. I do feel like I think they started in like chapter like the beginning chapter, like, oh, hello darlings, and they do the whole Astarion thing, and then every so often it's like, oh quick, we need a quote. Sorry, you might ask, are these tricks best for fighting or for seduction? I say, darlings, why not both? And you're like,
exactly.
Like,
it's just like,
sorry, go away.
Yeah, exactly. It is a bit like that, 100%. And I think I was going to mention exactly the same thing. I think it's just these little moments that just pop up. It's fine. It's fine. It's very much doing its thing. That's kind of what it's doing. It's doing its thing. And I think, it feels it feels not as much of a nothing burger as other things, but it's definitely sometimes feels a little bit like vibes over substance, I think, to a certain extent, without enough vibes, maybe.
Yeah, because I'd even say, because in chapter 2, obviously it says that we're going to give you a little bit more history about what happens to Astarion. And I'm like, okay, maybe there's going to be spoilers here. No, there's just nothing. It's just like, here are some connections. And I'm like, okay, I would have liked a bit more. And also, I think what would have been key here is how to role play not only Astarion but some of these other NPCs.
Yes.
So that, because like I know we just both did a joke of like, oh hello darling, like that's what we know from Astarion, but it's like, okay, he's a smooth talker, he's also condescending, he's a bit sneery at people, and it's like, well, how could you as a GM indicate like, oh, you've just met Astarion, without going like, oh, and you get into the Rat's Ruin, at the bar is Astarion. It's like, no, you see a very pale looking elf with frizzy hair.
If we're gonna get onto the
go on.
If we're going on to those elements of the miniature adventures, the adventures with Astarion, oh boy oh boy. Well, I don't know, Fiona. I don't know what you felt, but I felt like you said, you just mentioned that you see Astarion.
Hampus got his head in his hands.
I don't know where to start on this, because like it's like, okay, we've chosen a pub. That's what we've got. We've got a bar,
a tavern, great.
A tavern, a space, and we're going like, this is where we're gonna lynch our pin to. Do you know what I mean? Is a divey sort of bar.
It's his favourite place. Right, this is what I like. There must be something really cool about this place. If Astarion, why does Astarion like this place? There must be something, right?
Is there?
No.
No.
sorry, I didn't mean. And that was a hypothetical.
I was doing that. No, I was doing it with you. I was like, I was playing the game. That was it. I was improvising with you.
Oh, very good. No,
there isn't.
No,
there isn't. It's nothing. It's got well, okay. So the person who runs it is a Rakshasa. So there's that.
Cool. Really cool. I like that.
That's cool. Yeah. Which is hidden from people.
No one else will know except you, the GM.
No one else knows apart from UG, and maybe and then obviously like everyone who the person who works that's the like secondary bar person knows it and is indebted to them, which is a Goliath, I believe.
It does say so. Yeah, it's like Leith Cloudswell is a Goliath, and they have a very interesting relationship. But then it does say, without spoiling it, it goes like, if your game takes place after the events of Baldur's Gate 3, another individual runs the Rats Run, and here's a table of them. Like, I assume something happens, and that person is dead. So,
exactly. So that Rakshasa ain't living for very long.
Yeah.
I think what it is it's like, okay, so we're going to lynch up into this. Okay, it better be really cool. Well, that's kind of interesting, but it's really just a pub. And then the stories that come out of it are kind of just like, Jez, do us a favor. We need some quick adventures written for this thing. You got a minute?
Jez?
Yeah, sure. I got you. Family outreach. All right, the most recent vampire spawn from the family that Astarion was a part of is trying to kill him. Oh. Violet has sown the seeds of several plots to ensure if Astarion dies at Rat's Run. Okay, why? Which he knows she regrets. Oh, okay, that's why. Fine, cool. Violet
but also it'll be his most strongest place because he knows that. Okay.
Okay, but we're going to plan to kill him in a crowded space.
Yeah,
great idea.
Classic.
Not in the alleyway outside, not when he leaves. We're going to follow him home. No, we're going to do it at the building, right? So, so she fears Cazador's wrath should have Astarion's death be tied to her, so she won't try to kill him herself. So, okay, make it complicated. Astarion recognizes Violet in disguise days ago and eavesdrops on a conversation with the leader of the Bloody Knives, a local gang. Astarion asks the characters to join him at Rat's Run and help him thwart the threat. Why is this the way you do it? I'm gonna let it. I followed them. I've seen them had the conversation. Now I'm gonna we're gonna be in this. Okay, she assumes Violet's upon instruction in the tavern he frequents, right? So you consistently like I don't know.
Because you know what? I want to be the center of attention. I do want to be fought over. That is so stupid.
But it's just weird that you're going to fight in this pub. So they're going to go to this pub. You're going to then try and capture these things at the bar. And then they're going to slip. One of the hooded figures slips a note to Astarion. The note tells her to meet a friend upstairs. Reveals himself to be a human named Chase, who doesn't know the identity of the person who paid him the money to deliver a note. Fucking hell. Then there's these feeding. It's so like the first D&D encounter I ever wrote. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, I need to get him killed. We'll do it in the pub. Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, they don't have to go anywhere. Yeah.
And he overheard the conversation, but didn't think to do anything there or then. He's going to go and do it at the ambush. But now I'm going to pay some random people, you people, to come and help me.
You must know who I am.
In the middle of the fight, to give you more exposition, a hooded figure hands you a note, because that's the next...
And now come to this next part. The next part of the fight is upstairs. So here's a note. So yeah, because it does say I guess we'll go upstairs and come with me. We'll go see who this friend is. I was like, clearly, it's still part of the trap. What's going on? Yeah. I always think Astarion knows everything. He's super cool. He's like, he's arrogant, right? So maybe that's it. Maybe you play into the arrogant side of it. But it doesn't say like why he thinks these things. He's like, he goes like, the little bit here goes, ever since she crawled out of her grave, my snivelling sister Violet has been murderously jealous of me. I think she wants to humiliate me at every turn. I was like, okay, put that in the story. Like what? I don't know who this Violet is. I don't know if there's a... I
think focusing around the Rat's Run has limited their position so that when you get to the second one, other people from the family are going to do the same thing. Yeah. Right. And then it's like, there's no space. You go downstairs, not upstairs, Fiona, and there are different devils to fight. God. And then the two speaker devils are lurking upstairs and hear the fray and do come downstairs to fight you. And then Cazador then tries to fight him when they leave.
Let's get Cazador in. Like, okay. I guess.
Still in the, that's it. So you're like, the two things are the same story, but just slightly different played out in a pub. I just think they could have made it so much more interesting by just being like, okay, one of them's at the pub, which is in this pub, and suddenly they come in. the second one's probably better because it's a little bit less like contrived, a bit ish, apart from the fact that there happen to be devils there anyway. Just like if they all assaulted the pub because they knew he was there and that was just the chance, then fine. But then have the second one like, I don't know, you're with him and you come across this conversation and try and thwart the plan there and then. I don't know, might be more interesting.
It just feels like we need to focus. Astarion is the focus. It's how I find Jack Sparrow, which I appreciate is a wild thing, right? That first movie of Pirates of the Caribbean, you have Jack Sparrow as not necessarily the main character, but like a side silly character. And then you have the boring, she says in quotation marks, like Elizabeth Swann and Will Turner, like that's their story. Yeah. But what it is, it's like well, you know, because they are boring in comparison to Jack Sparrow, but they're leading the story because it's about them trying to get their relationship and all that sort of thing. And then eventually they, you know, they're like, we don't need this. Everyone comes for Jack Sparrow. It's like, yes, everyone comes for Jack Sparrow, but Jack Sparrow on his own is dull, and it's like, I've run out of ideas. You need the voice of reason characters to move this through.
You need the foil to
exactly.
To every, like, it's otherwise what's the point? You don't just 100%. You need it's no one's if you've got him just being kooky and there's no one there to like go, what the heck? Then it's not funny.
And so I feel like these two encounters that again feel very very rushed and like, oh quick, put these in, and it must involve a story. It just feels like, to me, the Book of Hungers, that title, great title. I feel like Astarion's got some jobs for you. He can't do it with right now. He's away just now doing stuff. You need to go meet these people. There's been a plot of some sort. Go steal this book. What, you know? He's a wheeler dealer, and it's like there was like a line or something which he goes, oh, I know this Kenku at the inn. It's my best friend. I know it has to be a Kenku, but like they've got some intel for me, and I usually go and assassinate people. But maybe I'm busy, so maybe you could go search it out for me. I just feel like putting him at the forefront means there's a lot of pressure on you, the GM. Like, and even though, as I said, we're doing this jokey impressions of him, but you have to keep that up. and people know him so well. They'll be like, well, that's not what Astarion would do.
Also, I feel like Astarion's kind of good when he's in like on the back foot. So I think what would be kind of nice is if you found him after a failed attack. Do you know what I mean? Like you thwart the attack like there and then would be kind of good. And he's like, oh, darlings, just a little bit, you know. Do you know what I mean?
Just taking it back, really. It's so frightening.
Just a scar, just but a scratch sort of thing, you know, like. Give it a bit of that, or a bit like, you know,
that's cool. Yeah,
you find him like coughing in the streets and just like, I feel like I've obviously a little bit of flush, you know, or something along those lines, and then be like, what happened, and then he could be, and whilst you take him to safety, you get the sort of like you get to like look after Astarion, but not like, and then get Astarion to say, then it was the Cazador family, they've been after me for years.
Yes.
You go off an adventure without Astarion, or you can take him if you want. It gives the opportunity, but they could be asleep, like resting.
They save him rather than he asks for help. Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. He doesn't seem like the person to ask a complete straight. I mean, it's just like your acquaintances of him, but I like that as a not a meet cute, but you know, like that sort of like.
It is, I guess, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I just.
This is trying to make meet cute, so come on, let's.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, I like that. I like that much better. Like, just like as again, like because obviously this is not. It's not meant to be a campaign. It's like, oh, there's a little silly side adventure that if you like Baldur's Gate, oh, you like this, and I do wonder in future if we're going to get a Karlach similar like adventures with which will be fine, but again it's that sort of thing where I hope it's not in the tavern. I hope it's like you meet them on the way somewhere, they're like, all right, soldier, I've heard one of these things, and can you help me get the thing back to, I need your help on something, like you
just want it to be something you can drop into a campaign, which would be like, because the thing is, if you think the majority of people are going to be doing, like, you're not going to get your friends around to play this one shot. Do you know what I mean? But you might, if there was something semi-decent that you could adapt that would be like, if you, because the thing I was thinking, like, if you said, oh, it was the Cazador family and they gave you the map of the Cazador family home, which would be having a tavern map. There's billions of those online. I don't need any more, technically, really.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, for D&D. But having a good vampire mansion on my books is always useful. You know, there's always Strahd, but having a good medium-sized one for any time that I could use for anything is always useful. But also just like, that could be something like that. You're going to go there, you're going to interact with Violet, who could be the infernalist that they want to use, and they've made this stat block for. And you could have Cazador as well. You could all use those, which could be, they could be used for a thing. There's a mansion that can be used for anything, and you could chuck it in. Or if you want to use the Astarion thing, it could be like, oh, they've taken me. And you know what? In return for your help, I know that they hold insert plot device you require for campaign here. Do you know what I mean? But like,
just he opens his mouth and blah. It doesn't move around. It dubbed
just
over.
Your voice comes in. Your GM goes. Sword of healing. The great blade of the mighty axe wielder.
Oh my god, I could already see like an improv show or something like that where it's like, you come this way and you must go and get the staff of lightning. You're just like,
yeah, exactly.
Amazing. That's very good.
You must do, Dave. I think Chuck E. Cheese would be a big thing for your improv show. You should definitely do it. Like
there you go.
Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese does Dungeons and Dragons. You know.
Oh, amazing.
Hello, adventurer.
Yeah, and then do the sort of
Peter.
weird robot thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Peter, and then you go, yeah. Peter, you are a what sorcerer.
Or do like it's like a big construct. All the constructs are like this, and it's like, here is your meal.
Magical powers to destroy. Yeah.
You know what? I can already see a shop that is filled with these sort of things, and they're just like, they're just like, that will be 19 gold. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, guys, you're not seeing some great room work here.
We are. God, where's our duo show, Hamilton, where we could just do robots? Anyway, back to Astarion.
Back to Astarion. Yeah.
I think my big complaint is like, there's not enough information about the Cazador family, these connections, because obviously, again, it's like it assumes you've played Baldur's Gate 3 and and you've already invested so much in it. That's why else would you be looking at this? And I feel like people like playing vampires. Look, Monster of the Week, Monster Hearts, all that stuff. People like being monsters or being monstrous. Yeah. And so I'm like, we should flesh it out so it's not just like we don't pin the stereotype of sexy vampire to Astarion. Because like one thing I noticed when playing through Baldur's Gate, as you said, when he's on the back foot, he's actually quite vulnerable. And he puts on this facade and it's like, you get endeared to him, depending on your playthrough, obviously. You're like, he's been troubled, he's been, captured and like forced to live this life. But he's like, it's all fine, darlings. And you're like, yeah, it's not fine though. And it's okay not to be fine. And I think it's just, you get that sort of weird sort of like, empathy. And I just wonder, like, it would be nice to have that rather than, maybe it's just me just reading the text. It just feels like, hey, you know what's really cool and sexy? Vampires. Don't think about it, how, problematic they could be, So I think I'd like to see more like, how do you role play these characters? What's their personality, bond, flaw, weakness? Like, what is it that they want? Other than like, Violet hates Astarion and she wants to kill him. It's like, okay. And then Cazador wants Astarion to come home, so he has to incapacitate him and capture him. It's like, why? What is it about Astarion? Because he's the second spawn. He's not even the eldest or the youngest. He's like the weird middle child. I'm like, what is it about him? And again, presumably it's talked about in Baldur's Gate 3, but I don't know,
I never got to the bottom of it either. We didn't get through the story. But I think you're right. And that's why I meant like I think that's why it endeared people to them so much, is the sort of like clear trauma that they've had that's been, I think there's a, no, I was thinking with it, you're just, the point that I think is bigger with like D&D and role-playing games and like the darker halves of it is like warlocks. I was thinking about, I've been thinking about the next thing I want to do after Wraithborn, and I've got an idea for a follow-up for it, which is like looking at these like basically like warlocks who have like knights that have been somehow pledged to like the horrors, do you know what I mean, or got powers from the horrors. And I'm just kind of thinking like, how do you write this without making it like like a horrific thing? Do you know what I mean? Like there's some interesting like magical powers I could come up with, but it's also like fundamentally warlocks are a kind of an awful thing. Do you know what I mean? They work, so it's kind of I don't know. So I was talking with Chris about Vampire the Masquerade as well, and how that is, fundamentally at the end of the day, they're like, the vampires are really not nice in Vampire the Masquerade. No. Like, as much as it's exactly what you've been saying about the whole idea that they're sort of like over sort of like, focusing on the sort of like sexy vampire thing. But at the end of the day, there's like this horrific bestial part of it. There's a horrific sort of like pure blood element to it, which is quite in some of the, I can't remember exactly the name of all the houses, but there's a lot of like undertones of quite bad things to do with that in with one of the houses. And there's also different houses that deal in like other horrific acts of violence, generally, that it's kind of just like, well, people like watching horror. People like watching these horrific things and some playing these games as well for similar reasons. I think dealing with traumas as well as like
being able to explore these things in a safe space. Yeah,
spaces exactly. So I don't know, but I guess that's the fundamental of it. I think it's just part of humankind and role playing in general and acting, and I think it depends what you come into these games for, but as much as it's enjoyable to act, isn't it? There's an enjoyable fun, and playing a villain at times is, my gosh, would I want to play Hans Gruber if I could? Like, Alan Rickman looks like he's having the best time of his life.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Even though he's a horrible human being, but he's having a heck of a lot of fun.
He's confident, he's in control.
Yeah, he's in control. He gets some amazing lines like, so good, I will count to 3. There will not be a 4. Like those kind of things, So and good. It's just so good, right? Yeah. And like people find that fantastical, right? Yeah. And to play those things. So I kind of get it. It's just, I think that's it. Just all these things come with that.
I agree. I think there's something about playing villains. And it's interesting, like in improv, from what I've discovered, people are worried about playing villains because they don't want to be seen. And it's a big generalization, sorry, I will say. People don't want to be seen as, well, that's me as that person. Whereas actually, we obviously know you're on stage playing different characters. Yeah. You got to commit.
I'll play the villain.
I'll play the villain. Yeah, I know. I love it. The thing I always find interesting, and I'll be interested to know your thoughts on it, which I appreciate is a little bit away from this topic, but like, whenever I play a game with certain people, and they'll be like, oh, well, I've made this and they look like this. And I'm like, wow, these people are gorgeous. They look really amazing. And I can imagine if you created a vampire character, you're like, well, they're stunning, they're charming, they're beautiful. And I'm going like, yeah, but I like playing ugly people. Yeah. I like playing, like, again, a whole range of people. And when I say ugly...
But you can't, but that's not... There is that in vampirism. There is, like...
Nosferatu is what I was thinking of.
Or like, even in What We Do in the Shadows, the guy with the
energy vampire, Colin. Yeah, the Count. The Count. Well. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, I like having seen a range.
The Count used to be beautiful, but it's completely like...
Yeah, but this is the thing. I find it interesting how we associate... Obviously, everyone's like, oh, we shouldn't associate certain things with being a villain because obviously then that might transfer over to real world. So, like, for example, if someone has a disability, again, going back to the top of the episode, we shouldn't show that as a evil trait because obviously then people, absolutely not. But I always find it interesting about, God, all the villains, they are beautifully dressed, they're smart, they look incredible. I was like, yeah, but what if we have an ugly villain, like, or a whole range of, like, they just look like a normal person, and they happen to still be mesmerizing because when you, like, Colin the energy vampire is the one I'm thinking of because, like, here's a dull middle-aged man who gets his way by talking at you for so long, and I'm like, that's quite a cool kind of character I'd like to play. So I always find it interesting how people tend to go like, I look this, because again, it's fantasy, right? You want to play characters that you want to like, this is my ideal. And I'm like, yeah, but I like playing quote unquote ugly characters and have fun and be silly with them. And I just think, oh yes, there you go. You've vampire counts you just picked up there from the Warhammer books.
So, no, you're right. But there is in this. So this is what I was going to comment. You've picked up the thing. You've reminded me. Is that there's different vampires. So the Warhammer, this is the like old edition of Warhammer Fantasy, and there's different vampire families that you can choose. But there is a particular one that I think is also, these ones, the Strigoi Ghoul Kings.
Oh, whoa.
Okay, it's like musculature, but also just like
that's horrific
vampires that have embraced their like inner bestial nature, which is a bit more
very bestial.
Horrific.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've even got the necromancer, doesn't exactly look, who's the sort of more like
terrifying,
magey, crony looking thing.
Do you think he's got enough skulls? On his,
I don't think he's got enough skulls.
I think he's another couple. Just really,
yeah. So they've got a couple of them which are like more beautiful ones, but then they've got these more, I don't know. Get your Warhammer art out, and you'll find some nice, nice.
Oh, that's horrible. Yeah. Yes, I would play that character.
There you go. There you are. Yeah.
There you are.
Oh, this one's nice. You'll enjoy that one. There you go.
Oh, yes. Oh. Well, I bet his shoulders not feeling great
better
either.
Than mine. He could do the surgery himself, though. Yeah, that's the thing.
Before we end, was there anything in the obviously character options we kind of glossed over a little bit? Was there anything in terms of the feats that you were like, because you were saying that they were interesting? You didn't find anything.
I'm playing them down, so I've reread them again, and I'm being a bit mean. I think I was getting a bit. So like the Tireless Reveler is a bit. That's the one I didn't like. Which I thought is like if you see someone else get heroic inspiration within 60 feet, you gain heroic inspiration if you lack it. You could gain this a number of times to your proficiency bonus, which I think was a little bit like. I felt like there could be a better feat for a tireless reveler than heroic inspiration gaining, because I think you should be given the opportunity to give heroic inspiration would be more interesting as like a reveler, in the sense of like you are bringing the party alive, so you can rally people to the party more. Do you know what I mean, or something like that? But I even thought that's not even quite the one I'd want.
I just also think it's a bit weird because like often like heroic inspiration, like, again, just the way D&D works for me. So obviously this is just getting advantage on stuff, but I always think it's just kind of like. It so rarely happens, so I'll be like, oh shit, you do that, and I go, way, and then I get it as well. I'm like, it doesn't feel as good. Like, I like the idea of being like, once per session or once per story, you could be like, hey, it is like inspiring leader. Is that sort of thing?
Yeah,
I think it's something like that would be cool.
I think that would be better. But I think also I was thinking a luck feat, or maybe something to like exhaustion, like you don't suffer. You can like would be cool. Like you only need 4 to 6 hours of sleep to get a long rest or something like that. It's a small thing, but it could be like they're out partying all the time, so they can just get some short rests in, and they can rally themselves. I don't know, or they can gain something better from a short rest. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they could regain stuff on a short rest because they're like, here we go. They had the monster energy drink.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Yeah, they know how to nap well. Would be kind of good.
Tactical napping, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, tactical napping. The Vampire Hunter one's kind of cool because you get advantage on checks to escape from non-magical restraints or the grappled condition, which I think is very good.
Yeah.
When you take necrotic damage, you can take a reaction to mitigate the damage, rolling a number of d6s equal to a proficiency bonus and add them together, reducing by this total. Once you use this benefit, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. Just feels a little bit like that's a one and done, which when you're fighting a vampire lord, like you're fighting Strahd, that's going to last you for one attack, and there's going to be a billion more of these attacks. That's not going to help you in the slightest. I think if that was you can roll like a number of d6 equal to half your level rounded up, as many times as your proficiency bonus allows, would be better. Because otherwise, you're gonna use that once against Fecna, and you're fucked. Then, do you know what I mean? Because that's one he's going to be necrotically damaging you like 20 billion times. You might what's 4d6 going to make a difference? It doesn't feel like it's worth it. Like, I'd rather something else.
Yeah, it definitely feels very low. This you're not expected to do a full campaign as this vampire. You know what I mean? Like, these are origins feats. So it's like, you get to like level 5 and that's it. You know, we're not expected to get higher than that, perhaps. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. Vampire Hunter would be kind of cool if it was just like you can sense if there's been necrotic damage recently used in an area. Would be cooler, because at least it's like it's not game breaking, but it's like you can use endlessly, and it would be really thematic, and it would fit with the Vampire Hunter thing, which is like you can sense necrotic energy or something like that.
Yeah,
you get advantage, or you get to use the detect good and evil spell free, like without any casting any spells, as a cantrip, because you're detecting good and evil, and it has a limitation maybe to purely vampires only, like, or something like that, which would be kind of cool. I don't know, something along those lines. The vampire play thing, which is you finish long rest, you can create one potion of healing or antitoxin as long as you have an empty vial or flask. They evaporate when you finish another long rest. Fine.
But you do get these, depending on the background, you get those glass bottles. So you have them. Be like, well, waste not once, bite your finger, like blood goes in,
which is fine. I think that's kind of cool. I think antitoxin is a kind of cool thing to have on your body as well if you haven't got. And also potion of healing is always useful.
Always useful.
You can take a bonus action to take the dash action or disengage action. You can use this benefit a number of times equal to a proficiency bonus, and when you like. Fine. I mean, that's kind of fine. Yeah, not too bothered by that. Vampiric connection. The DM determines the fate of your former vampire master. While you and your former vampire master are on the same plane of existence, the vampire can communicate with you telepathically, and you can choose to allow the vampire to perceive through your senses. I think that is kind of cool. That's the only one I actually thought I want to take back is actually kind of cool. That's kind of what I think would be better. That's what I feel should be there in these sort of starting feats, are more thematic things like you can speak to your vampire master.
Yes.
You can see through their eyes. Like if I said it was as I said with the other one, which was like detect necrotic energies or something like that. Things that are just like a fundamental little extra benefit that's kind of more less mechanical, in the sense of like rolling dice and saving hit points and gaining advantage necessary in battle, but more sort of like out of combat benefits would be more interesting, I think, for those starting origin feats.
I do feel like people think like our vampires are not going to necessarily be fighting, so that's kind of like a last resort even for them. It is more like, I'm going to talk to you, or we're going to be like you said, they sort of like again, it's because you talked about Vampire Masquerade, like the Camarilla that's old, and everyone's going to be like, "Hey, we don't need to fight here because it's not worth it, and it's just there's a lot of mess for us to clean up. So let's just talk it out." So yeah, I think some more stuff on that would be interesting. Other games I've been reading recently, like, have gone like, "Hey, you've got access to a retainer, and they've got you all this information, and then like, so you have advantage on like, I don't know, a resource check, and like, you always know." I think it was Flabbergasted or something like where you have like scene cues or playbook moves, where it's like you always spot a flaw in a plan, and the GM will tell you what that is.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's not a roll. That's just like a, okay, we've done all the planning to get into this. Well, what is something that we've not considered? And it's up to the GM to be like, you've got everything, but maybe, it's very secure. There's families, so obviously they're going to have people. So there's probably going to be, got to be careful. So you really got to prepare yourself. So that's the stuff I like, where it's not about rolling. It's like, hey, here's bits of information that I'm going to give you freely, because there's no point in rolling for it. Because if you roll low, it feels a bit like, oh, you would have known this, So yeah, I think I would definitely think in future maybe, all feats in general shouldn't necessarily have a mechanical benefit. It's just like, know this, or you will always have advantage. You know what I mean? It's not like a resource that I don't know. I just feel like, because you said they're all combat oriented. If it's more role play and like social, but like you always have access to this thing. You know where safe house is, and you can get there easily, or you always know where north is. That sort of thing. Of like,
you have a network of people as a carouser. Like, you have good contacts. You can always find a good contact in the towns that you party. You're able to like figure out who's in power, who's important, who's the one to talk to, and get information that you require, or like get things like, like if you need, I don't know, you need to get access to some potions of healing, the person, you can get discounts or something like that. You just have like, I think that would be the better feat. Like, you are good in town. You always know someone. You always know somebody.
I think because it goes back to that, I know I always bang on about Blades in the Dark. It's like, you are competent, you are cool, you're criminals, you're all these things, and it's you will succeed. It's just the consequences of it. It's not necessarily like, oh, does it happen? You've already done it. And that's the cool thing. You've already decided to do it, and we're not worrying about like, it's like you did break through, but then the guards just happened to come around the corner. That was not because of you. So I feel like. Yeah, there's ways to tweak these, I think.
The epic boons continue to be basic, so we'll leave that. I think they're just as we've already had our go at epic boons. But yeah, I think these are quite good. I like the fiendish icon one, was quite a fun one. These sort of ideally statues that are just sitting there ready to attack you.
Always a big fan of like a gargoyle. It's like, absolutely.
Exactly. 100%. And then the Harvester Devil was kind of like an interesting little bit of lore about these are the ones that they are the skill for gathering souls for the Night House. They are smooth-talking creatures that resemble tieflings, known as fluxagons among the ranks of the Night House. Harvesters have short horns and expressive tails. They are the ones that go about getting the contracts. They're the ones that just go and harvest contracts and souls people. But it has a really cool little contract loopholes, 1d6, so that it delivers if you deliver 99 other souls to Mephistopheles, then it voids the contract. Or if you stand on the light of a full moon and a half moon simultaneously, or if you renounce the contract whilst in the abyss, is under protection of another fiend, all these things. If you have an identical twin or clone.
I love that,
Yeah, so I think those are quite fun. I thought the Speaker Devil looked quite good, and the Infernalist is a fun idea of just more fire. Cool.
Yeah.
If you just feel like your vampires aren't hellish enough, then
it definitely is like a beefed up version of a vampire, like CR rating 14 vampire infernalist. So it's like, oh, if Cazador is going to come and pick up his wayward son, like, oh shit, we're going to have a pretty big fight on our hands. But more fire is what always.
Well,
good.
It's interesting. I don't know. I did that with my vampires. I gave them these like fire-based abilities, and I don't know, there seems to be a thing that feels right with vampires and fire. I don't know why. Maybe just because they're like kind of impervious to like everything but sunlight. So this kind of idea that they play with fire kind of feels like kind of cool magic.
Because on the opposite side of that, I can imagine having like a poison or like a rot vampire. So when they bite into you, like they're sucking your life up, but then it's like almost like infecting, like, and it burns and acid comes out, like almost like a snake is what I was thinking as well. Sorry, that I go the opposite way. I'm like,
so doing that next time, because I've got a rot area in Wraithborn. I'm now making the vampires go there and get rot fested. That's it now, done. Stealing that. I'll give you credit.
Oh, thank you. But it's like, it's how I imagine like Dorian Gray, right? So like, gorgeous looking like young individual, but then the painting is all bubbly and horrible. So if they don't, if these vampires go for too long without drinking, they get little bubbles, like horrible oil bubbles on their thing, and they're like, you have to bite. It's like, hello, let's go to the Rat's Run. Let's go for supper.
Bulging pus sacks of blood that they just seep out. Oh, maybe that. Oh no. Okay, Fiona, what they do is they infect you. And what you think is like, oh, I've survived, right? If you like don't get fully eaten, and then suddenly these big boils just grow on your of your body, and what they do is they come along and just like suck them dry from you. Maybe it like petrifies your body, like you go like dehydrated.
Yes.
So like basically your whole skin completely goes into a husk, but all it is these big boils of blood,
like a blood boil,
but like pustulant, so that they like come along and then eat you later.
They get like a little straw and they go, like a little like a mosquito.
They'll have a little like mosquito thing that comes out of their mouth.
That's literally what I was thinking, like a mosquito. There you go. Make vampires more mosquito-like. That's the monstrous thing I want. Okay, this is what I want. I don't like. Oh, I'm so sexy with little fangsies, and then you're like, what about?
No, the mouth has got to open in like 4 sections. You know, that kind of like breaks down the middle. There opens in 4 sections. This huge little proboscis comes out and goes,
oh, great, love that. Yeah.
Done. Okay, that's done.
Right, write it down.
Rot vampires.
Well, again, like I said, the Book of Hungers indicates to me there's a side plots and stuff like that, but also these horrible things that hunger for people's blood or something from them. So that's why I'm like, oh man, I could imagine, like you said, like having a blood boiler or whatever we could call them, like the blood mosquito. Just really cool. Or even having like somebody whose hands like have got almost like suckers, like an octopus, and you're almost like a leech, and you just like hold their hands and they just like suck out through the hand or something like that, like horrible suckers. That's what I was thinking. There you go.
Pyre. I guess that's what I pyre. I think that's maybe with fire. Vampire pyres are like fires.
Vampire.
Anyway, I think that's everything, really, isn't it? I think,
it's such a short book, and already I feel fired up. I'm like, let's go create something better. But like I said,
we're going to work together on these rot vampires.
It's rot vampires, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like it was fine. If you enjoy Baldur's Gate, you probably get something out of it. But ultimately, like I said, I think the best bit of it is that chapter 1, where it's like, here's some extra things if you want to play vampires, and oops all vampires if you want to do oops what we do in the shadows kind of thing. I can imagine getting some inspiration from that as a jumping off point, but I wouldn't be like rush out to read this immediately, because it's like it was fine. I'm sure if you're already into vampires, you've already got much more like a better idea, so you don't really need this. I think it was just for me, it's like, oh, this is interesting, what can we get from it? And so it'll be interesting to see. Again, presumably there'll be another one in like a couple of months' time. We're like, oh, Baldur's Gate was a thing. Let's do Karlach. Let's do. This is the thing. I wonder, like, if they could do all the other characters in that, because obviously Karlach and Astarion are the most popular just because they're fan favorites. But like, I swear I don't remember any of their names now. But the cleric Shadowheart. I think she could have some really fun, interesting ones, perhaps.
Yeah, Sean is an interesting religion in D&D as well, and like it's a bit, it's kind of like a whole thing they could go into. I think there's also Githzerai character,
Lae'zel, yes,
Lae'zel. Like getting involved in the Gith, I think we could do more Gith stuff. I think there's a lack of Gith happening in modern day D&D.
Maybe some stuff for Will, who seems to have the least amount of stuff, unfortunately. I think, again, having that whole like
a little addition. They could do an addendum to Descent into Avernus, focusing around Will, because Will knows he's mates with. His pals with what's her face, Azariel, isn't
it's a weird connection thing. Yes,
right. And same with Shadowheart. You could also Karlach, Karlach as well. So you could have both of them in
of course.
I think they should do. I mean, I think a Descent into Avernus Part 2 could be kind of cool. But I think like Expedition into the Abyss would be. I think is what they should. If I was going to be head of D&D, I think they could go with the devils, and bring in Karlach and Wilden if you want to. I think we're ripe for some more abyssal things.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Because like again, as at time of recording, I don't know if you know if there's any update on what's coming out this year. I think this is where obviously by the time we finish recording, we'll go and it'll be like
we'll literally like go D&D news. Oh, by the way, there's all these
so many other things.
Quickly do this.
Yeah,
now.
let's do it now.
Also,
let's do it
I just found out.
Yeah,
D&D is manufactured in Switzerland.
Oh.
It says manufactured by Hasbro SA, Rue Émile Bouchat, at 31 2800 Delemont, Switzerland.
Oh, I did not know that.
I didn't know that. Did you know that?
As in like the books.
The books are manufactured, yeah.
I assume maybe they changed because I'm assuming it used to be China with all the paper stuff, but I don't know. Hang on, I'm also looking to see if
at Dungeons and Dragons news. No, we look at the release schedule for 2026.
Oh.
So we have Dragonlance Legends Collector's Edition, which is a reprinting of the trilogy. Dungeons and Dragons Crochet, a book of many patterns.
God. I mean, great. What? You know what? Great. Whatever. So people, I'm just there going like, oh, no, thanks.
Yeah, I know. The official companion to the Player's Handbook, which is the Player's Workbook of Epic Adventures, which is a walk both new and experienced players through the character creation process. Mm-hmm. Dungeon Master's Workbook of World Building. The Feywild Job, which is a D&D RAF, what's it called? Young Adult? YA?
Oh, YA, yes, yeah.
Dark Sun Sourcebook, unconfirmed. Ravenloft Sourcebook, unconfirmed. So this is this is the other people going, the horror subclasses playtest that featured a return of character options first released in Van Richter's. And the setting also continues to be popular, appearing in Heir of Strahd novel, suggesting that we will indeed see a return 2026. So they think there's going to be a new Ravenloft thing.
Yeah.
And the Dark Sun has been pretty much confirmed, hasn't it?
Yeah. Interesting.
Tyranny of Dragons Legendary Edition from Beadle and Grimm, the Eberron book that we mentioned. Dragons of the Realms colouring book. Lorwyn First Light, that came out. Short D&D
Oh, well, yes,
book.
because Lorwyn is the new Magic the Gathering that's coming out just now.
Yeah,
set,
and there's the Netheril Fall, which is Faerun. It's just a Faerun place, which is as came out last year, which is the short digital D&D supplement serves as a mini gazette and adventure anthology focusing on the ancient Netherese Empire at the heart of its power. Overall, Netheril's history, along with detailed write-ups of the flying city of Eilionar, the ground and city of Conch. Also includes 5 time-traveling adventures.
5? Whoa.
Yeah. But yeah, that's everything. There's nothing else that's been confirmed. But yes, we've obviously got Dark Sun probably happening. So I don't know if there's going to be a D&D...
A showcase or, Well, I mean, to be fair, like, it's not like we don't have enough to get on reading. Obviously, we got to get into Dragon Delves at some point. We've got, obviously, our travel book club coming up as well with the Forgotten Realms. We got a lot of reading to do. So we better... Yeah. So I'm glad for a little break in terms of release, but it's always interesting to know what's coming up. So, yeah, interesting. I guess... I wonder if there's been any... Sorry, this is just chatting, like, what should we look at next? But Unearthed Arcana, what's the last one that came out? Because that's usually a good indicator. It's just subclasses, subclass updates, so... Well, Hamilton, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there in terms of our stewing on. Thank you so much for joining me on my Book of Hungers, darling. I'm sure we'll maybe have a drink or two at the Rat's Run at some point, maybe, and maybe we'll be attacked. I don't know. Help, save me. That's what Astarion says, right? That
is exactly what he says.
Where can we find you on the internet? Any big announcements or gossip, I guess, you want to share?
Yes. So, actually, I had a really lovely interview about Wraithborn on Dungeons and Dyslexia channel the other day. With that, I've also set up a link that you can go to, which is the pledge box should be up soon for all the pre-order store for Wraithborn. So if you just go to the Wraithborn on Kickstarter and click the follow along, it will take you to my website, where you just go to the theatremacabre.com. It's all one word website. There's a sign up sheet. If you put your email address in there, you'll get a email when the pre-order store goes live, and you can then have your chance to order a copy, before I send off for the final print run, basically. So that's the whole plan. So that should be going live this week is the current plan. I just got the message through saying that most things are updated. They just need to get a couple of weights and dimensions, and then we should be done. And then people can pre-order everything that's there, basically. Not everything that was in the Kickstarter will be available for pre-order. Some of the prices will have changed because prices have changed since that date.
Because the world, yes.
Because of the world being broken. And but yeah, so that's pretty much everything. I don't know when this will go out, but at some point coming up there'll be a new Warhammer actual play on the channel.
Exciting.
Catching up with, I've actually finished, I've had this on my shelf for a while. It broke the other day, but I need to fix it, which I've been making this
Oh wow.
kit bash, which is like making...
there's a lot of tentacles, I'll say, for the audience. Yeah.
Well, the original model is really boring, and it should be this disgusting. So I'm trying to make it more disgusting.
Make monsters disgusting again. Yes, exactly. Make monsters again. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm. So maybe a bit of kit bash coming out soon on the channel as well. So
nice. Yeah, nice.
That's about it. But we have been traveling for a while away.
Yes.
Because of Christmas.
Yeah.
And it comes to that time of year in Christmas when not only do days seem to just fall into a melange of just like soup, when you're just like, is it Friday?
Yeah. Yes.
Is it Tuesday? Is it what? I don't even know what day. Is it even Christmas Day? I don't even know what day. I don't even know what day Christmas Day lands on. But not only are you lost in time, you are lost in space because you're traveling around. One day you're with this family, then you got to see the other half's family, and then you've got this extended cousin that wants to see you, hasn't seen you for years, and suddenly on one day, not only are you shouting what day it is, you're going where.
Yeah. I am so glad you asked. Very good, very good. See, you'd be great at improv. Where is What Am I Rolling, which is a twice-monthly tabletop RPG one-shot podcast. We do lots of different interviews with game designers and different RPG systems. Hopefully, she says, with all the fingers crossed, the Zone will be out by the time you were listening to this, and we're hopefully getting started on our Kuriko playthrough as well. And I'm sure there's other things in the pipeline. My brain space can't think further ahead of that. But the
Kuriko
cool thing
is the Studio Ghibli, the delivery service. I forgot the name of the movie. I've watched it.
Ooh, Kiki's delivery service. Yes,
Kiki's delivery service. That's it. Yes, I have seen it. Yeah,
it is. Inspired by it, and I think I've said it before because I keep trying to accountability. Give myself accountability for this. Is that I've done 2 out of the 7 chapters, and it's really good. But it's like, and now the next chapter is like, instead of 7 prompts, you've got to do 8, and I've gone no. I've stopped. But hopefully I'm going to get started back on it because it's really good. I very much enjoy it.
It's a solo thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's a solo thing, and you basically your year as a witch away in the magical city of Kuriko, and so far it's really good. And
are you running a delivery service?
No, you could choose what you'd like to do. I can't remember. This is the thing. I can't remember what I'm doing. I think I was delivering things.
Where am I?
Where at Kuriko? Screaming to the void. So yeah, hopefully those will all be out, and yeah, very very good. I am currently at time of recording. I've been taking part in this a challenge that I don't think anyone else is doing, but I thought it sounds quite fun. I'm doing a character creator challenge or character creation challenge. So every day in January, I am doing a blog post about creating a character from an RPG that I have. And ideally, it's supposed to be like, for GMs, quite a character you'd love to play, and hopefully people will do it. I'm going there going like, here's how you create a character. Oh, you do this. And I go into big detail about how to create characters. Cool. I've been really enjoying it. It's interesting because I've realised a lot of modern character creator RPGs assume you are talking in person. You have a session 0 just because in the steps it's like, ask the person to your left what your bond is, or give them in this. And so it's really fascinating because obviously in the before times it's like, you create a character and then you rock up. Now a lot of character creators for modern games are like, they assume you're having a session 0, even if they don't say have a session 0. They'll be just like, get your group together and then do these steps, and the step is where you name the team, or you pick a playbook to, archetype together, like make that stuff together and then make your characters. Really interesting. So I didn't realize that. So it's been really fascinating to make these characters almost incomplete, because obviously I'm making them by myself. Whereas, and that's only through me analysing, going through it. Whereas I think some people are like, done. And then they'll show the character sheet, which is very cool. But I'm there going like, okay, what do I want to do? What am I thinking of these vibes? Okay, I can pick from these options, and like going into a little bit of detail about it. Obviously, the blogs themselves, they're just me writing. I'm no writer. I've seen so many spelling mistakes as soon as it goes up. But you know what? I'm doing the thing. So go check that out.
That's really cool.
Yeah, go check it out. It's on Medium. Basically, if you type in my name and character creation challenge, it sort of comes up. I think I'm the only one that's tagged it on the
show notes below.
I'll put it into the show notes. Yeah, so I'd recommend go check that out because I'm very. It's a hard challenge because obviously you got to write a lot of stuff, and obviously character creation shouldn't take that long really when you're doing it without analyzing. But I found it really interesting, and I've discovered some really cool like RPGs that I think do really cool character creations. For example, Doom Song, the book that you always talk about, like
great character creation.
Really good. I didn't even know.
It's the best character creation ever.
Yeah, I didn't know. So basically, it's just pick your own. It's like choose your own adventure kind of style, and you follow the lines through. And even if you don't have the PDF or the physical book, there's a character creator, so it's all character creator app, so it's all online as well for free. It's brilliant. I was really blown away by how cool it was.
Yeah. Next Kickstarter, I'm putting a stretch goal in to get some online abilities. Do you know what I mean? If I can,
like
because I think, just online app sort of thing. Like they have to like create character generator, a character, one of those kind of like small JavaScript style things at least.
Just something simple that goes here, and it fills it in. And it's been really interesting. I'll be short on this. It's like a lot of games when I've got so I've got to fill it in the character sheet. And sometimes I go, oh no, we've got a character tracker keeper that you can put in, and then you just make those choices, and it's so quick to do so. So all those bits where you create by yourself can be quick to do so, but then everything with the team you have to type in. So that character trackers on like Google Sheets or having an app like Mothership has an app. Obviously Doomsong has an app. Yeah. And then Morkborg and the various hacks. Obviously you just quickly generate a character.
They have a generators online, dungeon generator, little like five room dungeon generator, and
it's so easy to play a game now, Hamilton. Yeah. Like, you don't have to be sat with the book and read it. Sorry, there's an old woman going
with my one you do, so get on with it.
Get on with it.
Life.
You like nostalgia? Get on with it, yeah. So,
get on with it.
So that's me. That's me, all told.
Awesome.
And it's good to be back. It's good to have you back, Hamilton. And
Same, it's good to be back. We've got a bit more of a regular schedule, hopefully organised.
Our calendars, let's go. Fingers crossed. But with all that out of the way, thank you, friends, so much for listening, and we will see you on the flip side. Bye.